Today, as our world is hurtling towards the precipice of ecosystem collapse, there is an urgent need for transformative change at an unprecedented rate and scale. Local catalysts, helping communities and bioregions make the transition to a resilient and regenerative future, are like surfers riding the waves of change, navigating a path towards the emergence of regenerative cultures. The two-wave framework, developed for community climate coaches and drawing upon the Berkana Institute's Two Loops model, serves as a map and a process for facilitators working on local resilience and climate justice initiatives. The two waves also encapsulate Joanna Macy's concepts of the Great Unraveling and the Great Turning. The first wave signifies the Great Unraveling, the decline of the old dominant system that has led to the systemic breakdown of our world due to unfair and unsustainable practices. As this wave crashes, we are confronted with the fallout of an industrial growth society characterized by escalating climate change, entrenched social inequality, and precarious economic instability. The second wave rises to represent the Great Turning, led by pioneers and community catalysts who are co-creating regenerative practices that not only boost the health of our ecosystems, but also ensure well-being for all. As we ride these waves, we're not just observers of change, but active participants in the transformation from the Great Unraveling to the Great Turning. There's work to do in hospicing the collapse of the old system, composting the elements that cannot be carried forward, and midwifing the new and more regenerative system that is emerging. So, let's surf these waves together. Let's dive deep into the two-wave model, starting with the Phase 1, growing personal resilience and capacity. Just like waves, life is unpredictable. As the first wave peaks and begins to break, we need to orient ourselves. From the peak of this wave, we can look back over time and better understand the ecological destruction, the ontological and technological shifts, the structural violence, and the decisions humanity has made that got us into this predicament. We can also look forward where we can observe that business as usual is not an option and will likely lead to collapse. But we can also imagine and image what other directions we can take instead. In this phase, we learn how to gain a more systemic understanding of our current ecological situation. We also learn about the foundations of how to navigate uncertainty and how to live within the carrying capacity of our planet. We explore strategies on how to enhance our inner capacity to stay in flow during difficult times and be able to respond with resilience and creativity. Here, we can gain insights into how we can help catalyze the new system and what capabilities are required to surf the waves of change. So, from upon the wave of the Great Unraveling, we see that our world today faces significant ecological and social challenges, and we need transformative change on an unprecedented scale. There's a growing recognition that we need to nurture community-led and place-based initiatives at a bioregional level. Rooted in solidarity and resilience, these strategies offer a regenerative response to our current crises. It's time to seize the opportunity to catch the second wave. So, let's leave behind the Great Unraveling and begin to surf the Great Turning. The Great Turning begins with Phase 2, building collective capacity in community engagement. As we catch the second wave, we find pioneers, often operating on society's edges, who have bravely stepped away from the dominant system. They forge new paths, form networks, and establish vibrant communities of practice. This is a collective journey. The time of the individual has passed. The challenges demand cooperative action and shared wisdom. In this phase, we cultivate our capacity to engage, relate, and lead change together. We begin to comprehend the pivotal role of diversity in sparking transformative change, understanding this diversity from a decolonial and intersectional perspective. And we recognize that simply being green or sustainable isn't enough. We urgently need to restore and regenerate our communities and our ecosystems. Of course, we need to decarbonize our economies as quickly as possible, but we must ensure that no one gets left behind in this process. In this phase, we also nurture our skills in community engagement, readying ourselves to facilitate spaces of dialogue, design, and action towards more circular, restorative, and regenerative practices. Only together we can surf towards a more sustainable and just future. Once we are practiced in understanding how to engage our communities and steward our ecosystems, we enter phase 3, connecting with community, place, and nature. In this next phase, community climate coaches creatively engage with local stakeholders across local areas or bioregions to forge a deeper connection with both nature and community. At this stage, our team of coaches conduct community engagement initiatives that facilitate the act of valuing, appreciating, and learning from nature and the unique places we inhabit. This includes delving into the story of place, which involves surfacing the rich history and specific characteristics of the surroundings and how they shape our communities and our identity. By fostering a deeper connection to place and nature, coaches aim to trigger a significant shift in our collective mindset, from viewing ourselves as separate entities to recognizing our integral role in the web of life. This deeper connection strengthens the resilience of our communities, amplifying our capacity to adapt and flourish. In other words, to be resilient and regenerative. Through these processes, individuals and communities can better understand the ecological context in which they live, leading to a greater sense of belonging and well-being. They can also start exploring their unique roles and emerging potential as stewards of their bioregion. In this and the following phases, an objective is to creatively spotlight and echo back these reflections and practices to the first wave. The intention is to illuminate the benefits and advantages of these insights, making it easier for more people to comprehend the importance of transition and inspiring them to make that shift. The next phase, phase 4, is about mapping strengths and envisioning community-led initiatives. As we surf further down the wave, we delve deeper into the heart of the localities and regions in which we are working. In this phase, climate coaches work with communities to envision what could be and identify and map strengths, vulnerabilities, and potential of the local area or bioregion. This involves analyzing the context, facilitating a broader ecosystem understanding, and identifying opportunities to empower local people in envisioning and initiating collaborative, community-led, and place-based initiatives. By envisioning and promoting community-led initiatives, we pave the way for cooperative pathways that catalyze local economies and strengthen the resilience of our communities in the face of uncertainty. Phase 5 is about hosting dialogue and nourishing community-led initiatives. In this phase, our focus shifts to hosting conversations that cultivate a shared vision and that nourish the growth of community-led initiatives. Our aim is to create and facilitate spaces where meaningful dialogue can take place, ensuring that diverse perspectives are heard and valued. Dialogue creates a vital space for co-creation, where individuals with diverse backgrounds, experiences, and expertise can participate in these co-creative processes from their unique and complementary perspectives. By employing inclusive facilitation techniques, a wide range of stakeholders can actively participate in shaping the direction and design of community-led initiatives. This inclusive dialogue process illuminates transformative narratives and practices that prioritize the well-being of all individuals, communities, and the planet. Conversations serve as a powerful catalyst for transformative change and the realization of a more resilient and just future. In the 6th phase, which is about deepening impact and amplifying transformative innovation, community climate coaches facilitate processes centered upon reflection, peer support, and celebration. While focusing on deepening impact, coaches aim to amplify, increase participation, and scale up successful community-led initiatives to reduce emissions and strengthen bioregional resilience. This phase is also similar to the last stage of an action learning cycle, where we reflect upon our learning and where we recharge and continue to co-evolve. Our journey as climate coaches commenced during the crest of the first wave in phase 1. However, the 2-wave model is non-linear and ever-evolving, much like the ceaseless nature of waves themselves. Similar to the resilient cycle of adaptive change, the 2-wave framework is a continuous and iterative process where systems undergo cycles of growth, conservation, release, and reorganization in order to become more adaptive to our ever-changing world. The 2-wave framework helps us understand the role of community climate coaches in engaging their communities in processes of community-led regenerative bioregional initiatives that are able to cope with disruption and navigate complexity while creating and reaffirming their role and identity within the bioregion. You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf them. Let's go for it.